Alright, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the live stream. If you are watching this on YouTube, which I know we do have a lot of people watching it on YouTube, also watching it, or I guess listening to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, welcome, and then for those of you that are here live, welcome to the stream as well. As always, we'll go ahead and give it a minute. It's 5:58. Figured I'd start this just a little bit early here, and so we're just gonna chill out here for a minute while I get something set up here. But we will be, y'all are in for a treat. I'm in for a treat for sure too, talking about these fantastic players in Jamison Seese and Camden Jensen. I call him Cam. So there you go there. Here, let me go ahead and change the title of the stream. Both of these players, fantastic players. Got the opportunity to actually watch both of them live back in the fall, and then my co-host as well, Cody and Mason, got to see them live as well against, I believe, the Junior Buffs. Could be wrong though. And so we've got to see them live, and we've talked to both these guys as well. They pulled up to an AYL playoff football game, and so that was lit, being able to talk to these guys and kind of pick their brains a little bit here. So that was awesome, honestly. All right, and then change the stream. Boom, there we go there. So I'm really excited just talking about these guys. They'll be going to Heritage High School, as you can see by the graphic right here. Shout out to our guy Mo Thanel, big old number 21 defensive line, obviously he's a defensive linebacker. I meant to say linebacker, D-boy type of guy. Got to meet him at the last Team Full Gorilla. Well, meet him again, not for the first time. But got to meet him again at the last Team Full Gorilla and Ducks tryouts. He put me on to Cam, said he is going to Heritage, and it looks like that is for sure. With Jamison, I knew that he was going to go to Heritage, but I believe that is locked in as well. So both of these boys will be at Heritage High School come fall of 2022. So that's really exciting. And so here we're going to kind of continue our, series talking about class of 2026 players, talking about some of these incoming freshmen here by breaking down these two film, and so it'll be really good for sure here. I don't think I have any updates. Check out Cody's episode from yesterday, broke down the last of the seniors, last of class of 2022. Congrats on all y'all for graduating. We've congratulated a lot of y'all, I believe already. And if we haven't yet, consider this our official congratulations. Super proud of y'all. Really looking forward to see what y'all will be doing in the future, whether you're playing college football or not. PMC fam, we got you. But with these two right here, they're getting started here in the fall. In high school, and that's going to be real exciting, man. I think these two guys are going to be very interesting to watch throughout high school for sure. They did play together on this Falcons team, as you can see on their unis, and the game I went to, they were killing it. They have some talent over there. Shout out to our boy Evan Haynes. I believe he invited us out to that game, if I'm not mistaken. Adrian Samala. I hope I'm saying that last name right. He's the running back for the Falcons. He's a heck of a player as well, and so a lot of good players on this Falcons squad. And so this is just going to be a real good opportunity to look at their film, react to it. It'll be raw reactions. Relatively raw reactions. Obviously I've seen them play in person, so there you go there. And then we're gonna go ahead and give them a little bit of a grading as well. Now they are middle school players, and I'm gonna grade them as I would most high schoolers, and so give it some leeway, right? There's gonna be a lot of growth. I'm sure both of them have grown a lot, since last fall. This is kind of around that time, where you tend to hit a growth spurt, or that development in your game kind of hits another level or a couple levels, and so it's gonna be pretty tentative, but I just want to kind of get my thoughts out there, talk about like these guys, talk about what I really like about the game, what I believe makes their brand of football, and then some things they could work on, because every football player could work on some things, and I don't even think that's that crazy. TBH. So yeah, hey, I mean, it is 6:03. That is my intro there. Let's go ahead and hop into it. I am gonna go ahead and break down the film of Jamison Seese first here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that first. I've been looking forward to this for a minute here. You'll see Cam in the highlights, but I think that'll be something to highlight on the back end as well. But before we look at his film, do want to take a quick look at their social medias here. Let me go ahead and take this picture down, and then let me miniaturize myself so we could get this thing going. All right. So Jamison here, man, 5'9", dual threat quarterback, class of 2026, 4.0 GPA. Love to see that. Hey, keep it up. You know, leader on and off the field, you know, but 5'9", definitely see that. Doesn't list the weight, which is interesting, but dual threat quarterback out of Littleton. Go ahead and give my guy a follow here. Oh, I guess he met Emmanuel Sanders as well. So there you go. I mean, in case you had any questions about him being 5'9", I mean, that's Emmanuel Sanders, and I think that's a good comparison as is right there. So there you go. Go ahead and give Jamison here a follow. You know, he's one of I think he's going to be a really interesting quarterback going into this next year. I don't know if he's going to start right away, but down the line, he's somebody that you kind of got to keep a name out for. I know in this class of 2026, you do have a couple of star quarterbacks here, man. DJ Bordeaux, he's out there. Brady Vodka, we broke down his film last week. You know, and then, I mean, you have a lot more like that. Colton Kamba, that's another one that comes to mind. Well, our boy Eker over at Holy Family, shout out to him. You know, and so you got a couple quarterbacks here, but Jamison, he's one to really look out for, because this Heritage team, man, I honestly feel like they've struggled. You know, they've had their struggles in the past, but they're about to hit a real quick turnaround here. I'm a little hesitant to say a real quick turnaround, but they're gonna hit a turnaround here, at least in the next couple years, for sure. You know, and so Jamison here might be a part of that. But there you go. That's his profile. If you want to follow him, we are. And then here is his film. All right. So, you know what? Actually, let me go ahead and just react to this film, man. I'll react to his film here first, and then I'll kind of talk about the process that I have when breaking down quarterbacks and players, in case you're new to this and you're not familiar with it. So yeah, let me make myself smaller, because it is not about me right now. It is about Jamison. So let's get this. All right, Jamison Seese. I hope I'm saying that last name right as well. Out of Littleton, Colorado. Let's go ahead and react to this kid's film here. Obviously, he's the quarterback, so in case you don't know where he is. Oh, this is a nice throw. That looked effortless down the sideline, and that's Cam too, I believe. Good timing here. A little seam throw. Could have let him on a little bit more, but that's okay. I mean, he's wide open. He still got there. All right, we got some scrambling. Ooh, nice little move. Throws down the shoulder, gets into the end zone. There you go. Another throw right here. I'm not sure what that route was, I'm gonna be honest with you, but still a good throw. Way to identify the open guy, and dang, this guy is just going to. I think I might have been at that game too, now that I'm thinking about it. That might have been me in the stands over there. Oh, this is wide right here. Nice. Nice little deep shot. Oh, I think this is a run. Really good blocking. He can move. I think that's something that I kind of want to acknowledge here. Jamison could definitely move. I wouldn't necessarily call him a pocket quarterback. Good throw here. But he could get out there and kill you for a couple of yards, man. He's mobile enough. See, just like that. And he can make you miss too. He's quick. He's quick for sure. Not too bad there. I mean, it was a touchdown, so I guess it's pretty good. But good job. Some of these rollouts are real. That's a nice find right there. Way to kind of looked him off a little bit. Had that safety or DB tripping. Nice. In time too. Nice little easy throw right there. I like these end zone looks, I really do. Because honestly, it's one thing to get a big splash play. It's another thing to put together a nice drive. Good throw here. Way to put it up there. And then go ahead and finish it off with a touchdown. It's never a bad thing. I know people look for the splash plays on highlight reels and stuff and are like, oh, you know, weren't enough splash plays. But honestly, oh. Fades a defender. Oh, that acceleration. Okay, kind of got lit up, but with that acceleration. But anyways, like I was saying, I love these end zone looks because when I am evaluating a quarterback, especially trying to figure out where he's at decision making wise, maturity wise, I'm definitely, you know, I definitely want to see red zone looks. I want to see how they react when they got 4 downs and they have to score and it's a short game scenario. So defense is obviously compressed. This was a good job to go ahead and, Jesus, look how big here real quick. This was a good job to go ahead and tuck it for that touchdown here, because I think he was looking. Let me go back here. I think he looked outside here. It was probably a slant or something like that. Wasn't open. Aware enough to go ahead and get in there. But also, look how big this number 77 kid is. That is not that I don't know. I know this is middle school film, but gee, oh my lord. Look how big he is. Pause, but unpause still. This is a high schooler right here. If you know his name, you gotta let me know. You gotta let us know. We'll put him on. But anyways, good decisions. Ooh, that was a nice little throw into cover. That wasn't a bad decision. That was a good throw into a tight window. This was as well, right between the corner and the safety. I believe that had to have been an RPO, and that was well written up too. Nice. That was in time too. Good job. Oh, scrambling. No one's there. There you go. Get a solid 10-yard gain. That's never a bad thing, honestly. Nice stall on the run. Made that one look easy. He was open, obviously, but that's still a good job. Oh, and this is a cam highlight. Oh my god. You can either throw it or pass it. Good throw right here. Stepping up. Oh, he's out of there. I think he got the first 2. Okay. Okay. I like it. Here, let me go ahead and let this ad play out here and show y'all something real quick. Alrighty, so this is how we evaluate players. Obviously, for each position, it is different. It is not the same here. Let me go ahead and pause that. It is not the same here for every position. But for the quarterback position, whether you're in high school, middle school, whatever, even college, I mean, we have a couple of those. This is how we're going to evaluate you. And so for Jamison here, the next 4 years, obviously after this one, this is probably how we're going to evaluate him. I really don't see this changing. I'll probably add a couple things, a couple more like subcategories I'm looking for that I'll go into each attribution. But here's how this thing goes. We have 10 categories here. You could get a rating, or Jamison here could get a rating between 1 and 10. Alright? 1 and 10 for each category for a total of 100. So you'll have a grade out of 100 here. Now, let me talk about the ratings here. So if I give you let's say anything from a 9 to 10 for arm power, that is the equivalent of a 4-star, 5-star like player at that position. And so like a 9 or a 9.4 or something, or 9.5, that is like the equivalent of like freaking Braden Dorman over at Vista Ridge, who's a 4-star guy, borderline 5-star guy. So there you go. When it comes to arm power, that's just straight arm power. When it comes to, well, actually, I totally lost my train of thought there. But yeah, anyway, so 9 to 10, there you go. That's what that means. 8 to 9, that's a very wide range. I'm going to be real with you. That's a very wide range here. And so you could kind of expect anything from a 3-star to 4-star talent if I give you a grade of 8 to 9 on one of these categories. Alright, and so think 8, like 8, 8.1, 8.2, like low 8s. That's like low 3-star, borderline 2-star, 8.5, for sure 3-star, and then anything above an 8.5 to a 9 is in that 4-star type of range. So there you go. Alright. And that's in the country. Like I said, this is based on how he would stack up against other high schoolers, and so not like against middle schoolers, even though he's playing middle school talent. I know that could be confusing. Alright. Now, if I give you a rating of 7 to 8, it's not bad. It's definitely above average. Like, you're very above average at this. And so if you're a middle schooler and I give you a grade from 7 to 8, that is really good. For your age group, you're probably considered elite or very good. I would say that of either very good to elite if I give you a 7 to 8 right now as a middle schooler, because that means you could kind of stack up against a high schooler. But 7 to 8, that's like a 2-star type of rating here. Like above average, you do a pretty solid job. You do a pretty good job and all that great stuff. So you should be proud of that. 5 to 6, we're talking about average to just above average here, but mostly average. Players probably not ranked. This is definitely some if I give them a 5 to 6 here, this is definitely a category where they're gonna have to work at it a little bit here, but for now, I mean, it's gonna suffice for the season. But if they don't improve the next season, maybe something could change. If I give them a 4 to 5, that's below average, and then you could probably guess from there. Don't really give too many of those. Alright, but let's go ahead and hop into this. Oh wait, maybe not right away here, but let's go ahead and talk about the categories here: arm power, arm accuracy, timing on throws, overall mechanics, fluidity. This is basically, do I like your mechanics or not? And I'm looking from top to bottom between footwork to throwing motion, all that great stuff. Decision-making skills. Some players, especially on the middle school level, this could be tough to kind of grade, so I'll do my best there. You have scramble ability, throw on the run ability, pocket awareness, pocket movement, frame and size, and then, like I said, you get an overall grade there. If you get, I would say our overall grades are pretty much lined up with the ranking system as well that we do have when it comes to our actual ratings. I don't believe we say this a lot, but if I give you an 8, that's like a 3-star, 9, 4-star range, 9 to high 9s, a 4-star, 5-star range, right? And then 7's probably 2-star to no star range. So there you go there. Like I said, we are evaluating middle school film, but I'm evaluating him based on how he would compare to other high schoolers, if that makes sense. So, I'm evaluating Jamison's 2021 film based off of, how does he fare compared to some other starting quarterbacks in the state that are on the high school level. So there you go. Oh, and then last but not least, if I don't see something, and there are a couple categories where I just don't see enough of this, or I'm not sure about it, my personal default grade is a 5. So it's not a bad thing, not the greatest thing either. It just means I didn't see it. And so because I didn't see it, whether it was in your film or when I watched you play or whatever, you're kind of getting a 5, and it's a little bit of a wait and see grade. Just want to be honest there. So there you go. That's our grading system. I'll go over the tight end grading system when we get to Cam later, but this is basically the gist of it. I mean, just different categories. So there you go. But let me go ahead and play Jamison's film one more time here while I put in some grades, and then we'll talk about his game here. We'll talk about some things that I very, very much like. And so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then I'm going to mute up. Alrighty here, so let's go ahead and talk about Jamison and his film here. I think for the most part, here, I have his grades pretty much done. Now, like I said, it is a little bit harder to kind of evaluate just because, I mean, it's a middle schooler, right? I'm trying to see where he would stack up as a high schooler compared to other players around the country, but obviously he's playing middle school talent here, so it's a little bit harder, but this is kind of what I have here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started with arm power. I went back and forth, I'm not gonna lie. His arm power is real interesting. But I think I have to give it a 7.2, which I think is probably a little bit generous here, a 7.2. Look, the thing I really like about him is that he could definitely fit it into some pretty tight windows and spots here. He has that ability to kind of just rifle it in, and he'll put it on the money too. I like that kind of a lot. You know, seeing that many red zone looks like, and then throws like this one as well, like the ball definitely kind of pops out of his hands just a little bit here, you know, so he could definitely spin it well, has nice velocity on it. Something I am worried about though, just straight up, you know, well, I guess I shouldn't say worried, but I am a little concerned about right now is that, you know, he does have a little bit of a smaller frame, and I believe that probably holds him back from throwing it as hard as he could. So as he gets older, as he gets stronger, this arm power is definitely going to go up. But I do especially like what I see from the short to medium game, I would say. You know, I really like what I see. There's nice velocity on there, and so that's kind of what's making up the majority of the 7.2 arm power grade. Could be a little bit lower, you know, 7. Yeah, I'd probably say 7 or so, but I think 7.2 is good enough. Now, I don't think he's gonna like kill you all the time throwing it deep and whatnot, but he could fit into some tight spots for sure. So 7.2 as of right now. Arm accuracy wise, I gave him a 6.6. Look, short wise, look, he's pretty much always on the money. You know, he's very accurate when in the red zone, and that's kind of what I like to see. So I don't have as many concerns there, which is usually almost always a concern when it comes to quarterbacks, and so that's a good thing. You know, that's a very good thing. Now, when it comes to accuracy downfield, as you continue to stretch it and whatnot, it could be a little shaky sometimes. There are some times where, you know, it's a little bit thrown behind, or the player has to stop for it. That might be an arm power or timing thing, honestly. But also, I know he could let it go, so I'm kind of just like, I don't know about all of that, and so that's why I'm kind of calling it an accuracy issue as of right now. He could definitely be a little bit more consistent here when throwing it deep. You know, when throwing it short, he's gonna get it there. You know, and placement's usually pretty good, and so I'm not even really tripping about that. So there you go, 6.6 for arm accuracy. Now, timing on throws, I am a bit concerned, I'm not gonna lie. I did give him a 4 here. Now, there were times where, you know, he was throwing it and it was absolutely on time, especially in the red zone. I commented on those plays when that did happen, you know, when he was throwing it, and I mean, it was on the money, right? I did call those out, you know, if you want to go ahead and look back at that. But I think for the most part, I just need to see more consistency here, man. I think there are times where, you know, timing's a little bit off, especially as you kind of get down the field. Now, medium-wise, like you just saw there on that little post route, he could hit receivers in time, you know. But short route-wise, especially like here in the red zone, I think there are definitely times where, you know, ball's a little bit thrown behind, or he could have thrown it quicker, or, I mean, it's just a little late, or whatever, you know. But like I said, I think consistency, that's always going to be a big deal when it comes to young quarterbacks and timing. And then when it comes to timing, like down the field vertically, like 20 plus yards, You know, it's not exactly great. You know, I didn't see many deep balls where he threw a person deep in stride, and I'm talking 40 to 50 yards downfield, which, you know, for a middle schooler, that is hard to ask. I'm not even going to lie. But, you know, if you do want to compete on the next level, you know, you kind of got to hold yourself to that standard. So there you go. So I gave him a 4 there. I need to see it improve. I think that is probably where some of his accuracy issues are coming from, and I think that is fair to say. So yeah, overall mechanics and fluidity, I watched his mechanics carefully. You know, I don't think there's, I legitimately don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think on some of the dropbacks though, it could be a little bit more consistent. Like when he's under center and dropping back, it could be a little bit more consistent, you know. So I do want to see a little bit more there, especially from the base. I think there are times he could get a little bit wide, and so that affects his arm power, accuracy, all that great stuff, you know. Throwing motion, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I had to really like look hard at it. I think I want to see another year. I honestly need to see another year of him playing where, you know, he's developed a little bit more and whatnot, because he does have a couple of things in his throwing motion that I feel like is compensating just a little bit for arm power, which every young quarterback, they have one of those things, you know. I talked about that with Brady Vodka last week. I've critiqued almost every young quarterback for overcompensating. But, you know, for Jamison here, I think for the most part, I like his mechanics. Footwork, the lower part could definitely use a little bit more consistency though, in my opinion. I think there are times where his base varies from being wide and narrow, so we'll just see about that. But I gave him a 5.8, nothing too bad here. Decision making skills, I kind of had to go with a default grade here. I gave him a 5. You know, part of that is because, you know, they didn't ask him to take many deep shots downfield. You did see a couple intermediate routes, some digs, some post routes, which I felt like was really interesting. I like to see. But other than that, you know, I mean, the play calling wasn't bad play calling by any means, you know, but wasn't as complicated as some other quarterbacks was. And honestly, I feel like at this point, I do want to see him, you know, read a defense. I feel like there are a lot of plays where it was like, you know, either 1 or 2 read type of throws, and one of those other decisions was either running it as well, you know. So maybe 3 decision type of plays here, which is not bad. If it works, then run it, right? And so I do want to see a little bit more here before I make a proper decision. I like the decision making in the end zone or in the red zone. I will say that. I think he's very efficient when it comes to the red zone. I like that there's a lot of red zone looks on his film. That's always a good thing, because that means he's marching the team down, being methodical. That's a good thing, you know. But I think I just need to see a little bit more here, a little bit more complicated plays, because they do have a great running back, so they'll run it a lot. You know, they'll run it with him as well too, you know. And so there were definitely times where, you know, he wasn't really like relied on as much to, you know, drive down the field unless they need a big splash play or, you know, a couple short plays here and there to set up some of these red zone looks, you know. And so I'm going to give him a 5 for decision making right now. Going on to the next level, onto the high school level anyways, you got to work on this. You know, it doesn't matter what grade I give you now. Moving forward, you still have to work on this regardless. High school playbook's different from a middle school one, so there you go. Scramble ability, I surprised myself a little bit here. I actually gave him a 7.8 here. I think he's somebody that is, I mean, he's an athlete. You know, he's an athlete. He could probably play another position on the next level if he wanted to and be a real good athlete. He's shifty. He has good speed, good acceleration. You know, obviously, like I said, I'm comparing him to a high school quarterback. I'm grading him like he was a high schooler, and so yeah, there's just some things as a middle schooler where you're just not going to be like faster than some high school quarterbacks. As he continues to develop, get stronger, get faster, etc., all that great stuff, you could definitely see this grade pop up into the high 80s, high 8s to low 9 type of grade here if he continues to develop, because he could get out of there. He could make a couple people miss, you know. Didn't see a lot of plays where, you know, he just broke off like a 60-yard like run or something like that, but I kind of feel like if he has an open lane, man, he could scorch you, for a little bit, there, even a little bit more than a little bit. Honestly, he's gonna be a threat. Like, you can't just live with, letting him run it. You can't let him live with that, because he'll run for 100 yards or something, if he really wanted to. So there you go there. Love his scrambling ability. The on the run ability, I really like it as well. He's arguably a little bit more accurate throwing on the run at times when, or rather than when he's in the pocket, and so that's really interesting. Really only thing when throwing on the run, there are definitely not a solid amount. I'd say probably either half or a third of the time where, the timing isn't quite there. It's a little bit off, and so I think that kind of affects his throw on the run ability right now. And so if he could improve that, that'll honestly go a long way here. If he could improve that throw on the run ability and that timing. Also, it's not higher because I didn't really see him throw on the run too much when it came to passes of like 10 plus to 20 plus yards, and so you just didn't see a lot of that. And when I did see it, the ball kind of fluttered just a little short. And so we'll see. As he gets stronger, this could definitely go up. Alright, now the last two categories here. Let me go ahead and show y'all my rubric here, so y'all know my thought process. Okay, the last couple categories here. Y'all can see that? There we go. I have pocket awareness and pocket movement. Awareness, love it. You could tell he knows when the rush is coming. You see him take steps up, and he keeps his eyes downfield, or he's looking to scramble and whatnot. But you see him take steps up. Doesn't have a problem on holding onto the ball too long. I think when you have a young quarterback who has such a weapon in this tall tight end and Cam Jensen, they tend to hold on to the ball kind of a lot, and take a little bit too long here. With Jamison, I was very impressed. He gets the ball out pretty quickly. His his internal clock when it comes to pass rushing is very good. He knows when to dip out, and he senses that pressure very, very well here. And that's why I'm confident, and that's why I'm giving it a solid 8 here. Now, pocket movement, I think there are definitely times where, he's kind of keeping his eyes downfield, but he's like moving like defenders away from the line of scrimmage by keeping his eyes downfield. But he definitely has the intention of scrambling a lot of the time. Like I said, on some of these throw on the runs, he didn't really throw on the run on anything past 10 plus, 20 plus yards. And yeah, so I mean, and if there was something, then he'd just kind of take off here. And so I would like to see him legitimately keep his eyes downfield and then complete a pass, like climb that pocket, deliver a pass here. I think the reason this pocket movement is a 4, well, I know the reason why. It's because I gave him a 4 here, but the reason it's here at a 4 is because I just want to see him deliver a ball after he climbs the pocket. Not looking to scramble or anything like that, but climb the pocket, deliver a good ball, consistently. Because I do think he gets a little trigger happy, a little scramble happy, at times. And so that's why it's a 4 here. But, I mean, I don't mind it as much. Plus, his footwork could probably be a little bit better when he is moving up in the pocket. I think there are just times where, his footwork gets a little tangled up, just a little tangled up when he's, moving up in the pocket. And I think part of that is because he senses the pressure. And so in his head, he's like, he's trying to get out there. And so his footwork gets a little tangled up there. And so that's kind of just, keep working on the craft, make that, like a muscle memory type of deal. And so you're not kind of tripping over yourself there. And so pocket movement could be cleaner. But also you could step up in the pocket and deliver some strikes as well. I want to see that, and that could definitely improve your pocket movement as well. And last but not least, frame and size. I just straight up gave him a 4. Look, 5'9", not bad. You know, he's getting taller. That's a good thing. Not really concerned about his height, to be honest with you. He does have a little bit of a wiry frame. He's definitely a skinnier player, you know, but also he's a middle schooler. I know, look, the last couple of middle school quarterbacks we talked about, like in DJ Bordeaux, Brady Vodka, those guys are like actual freaks that are in middle school, you know, 6'3", 180, 6'1", 180. That's kind of wild. Jamison here, he is right where he's supposed to be as a middle schooler. Like, not ahead or anything like that, but be on the lookout for a growth spurt. He's going to grow. You know, I'm not even really concerned about this, but he's going to grow. He's going to get bigger, you know, as he, you know, hits that growth spurt. You know, I just encourage him, like, hey, make sure you hit the weight room. Make sure you're doing the right lifts. You know, you're not overstraining or anything like that. You're getting your stretches in and doing all that great stuff. You know, I wouldn't stress out too much about that, but I think, honestly, as he continues to grow, get stronger, get bigger, all of these grades across the board are going to go up and show truly what kind of quarterback he is, because I think this 59.1, yes, I think that's an accurate representation of where he's at right now, or where he was at the end of last 2021 season, but it's not an accurate representation of his potential. And his potential is a starting quarterback. I think he's somebody who could be a legitimate dual threat, you know, somebody who could rush for 50 yards and then throw for at least 200. You know, I like his velocity on his throws in the short game. You know, he's somebody that can manage a game and score. And honestly, when you're playing quarterback, your job as a quarterback, and I've said this a million times, but your job as a quarterback is to lead the offense down the field and score. Don't matter if you score, as long as you score, you know, and lead a good methodical drive down the field. Or even not even methodical, just lead a scoring drive down the field. That is your job as a quarterback, and you do what you got to do to get there. Whether it's you scoring, whether it's Cam scoring, whether it's your running back scoring, you find a way to get down the field. And so for Jamison here, you know, I very much liked a lot of what I saw. I think for the most part, he played within the system. Actually, you know what? Decision-making skills, I'm going to go ahead and bump that. I don't think it's quite a default grade. I'm going to give him a 6.5 here, because I think he very much played within his system here, and he did a good job of it. You know, that shows discipline as a quarterback, and that's a very good thing to see here. Now, over at Heritage High School, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. You know, he's going to learn a more complicated playbook, I would imagine, right? So that's going to be a big thing. He's going to go against bigger, faster, stronger athletes, and so him as an athlete will have to continue to work to stay on par with those guys, and I think he will. I'm not like concerned about it, but I'm just saying, you know, if you want to be one of the best, you got to put in the work of somebody that is the best, right? And so we'll see how that goes over the next couple years here. But ultimately, I think Jamison, he's a kid that, you know, he's going to be a dangerous quarterback someday. I like what I see. There's a lot of potential here. You know, he's a real good athlete. I think he's going to continue to be an even better quarterback, you know, and so we'll just have to see about that. Now, let's go ahead and talk outlook here. Would I call him a day one starter on the varsity level? Probably not. I'm sure Heritage has somebody out there, you know, who's going to start, take reps and whatnot, do all that great stuff. If I'm Jamison, number one thing I am working on going into next season is learning the playbook. And not just learning it, like master the playbook, man. You got to know it. You got to make sure that your coaches are comfortable with throwing you out there because you know the playbook. Everything else, skill-wise, athletically, it'll come with time, you know. It'll come with time if you continue to work on your craft. But I think a big priority here is just learning this playbook. And honestly, Jamison is probably somebody that if he could get to a point where he could learn the playbook, then who knows, maybe there's an opportunity in maybe not crunch time, but in garbage time or something like that. We'll see about that. You know, we'll definitely see about that. But definitely a couple things to work on. You know, Jamison Seese, he's somebody that he really popped off, like, when I watched him. I remember watching that game. Evan Haynes, shout out to, you know, his guard over there, or a center, I think, actually. He gave me a list of things to, or of players to look out for, and so I was looking out for these players, And you know, obviously Jamison's name popped up because he played quarterback. And I was like, all right, you know, we'll see. I've seen plenty of good quarterbacks, but I've also seen plenty of they're okay, you know. But watching Jamison play, I was like, okay, calm, cool, collected. A little bit of an athlete, you know. He could burn you to the outside if you don't play. What is it? If you don't play contain and whatnot. Very accurate when it comes to the short game, very accurate in the red zone, which is literally what matters, you know, and smart in the red zone as well. That was enough for me to be like, all right, I gotta come back to this kid's film because, you know, I like what I see here. Being smart in the red zone, that is almost invaluable, honestly. So there you go there. But there you go. That is Jamison's film breakdown. Ultimately a 60.6. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat here for Jamison. You know, look, hey, he's a quarterback you got to look out for, man, for next year. Like I said, probably not an immediate starter, but when he gets his chance, he's going to turn up. You know, he could put up numbers, and, you know, this Heritage squad, they got a lot of weapons out there. They got a lot of weapons. They're bringing in a nice defensive class, I would say, like a class that is very defensive-minded. You have a lot of fantastic defensive players, and so it's never a bad thing to have a fantastic defense and a very, very smart and good quarterback out here. That's a good recipe, you know, for any program. That's honestly a very good recipe. So there you go there. Now let's go ahead and talk about Jamison's teammate here, Camden Jensen. 6'6", 220 pounds, tight end, defensive end. Played with Jamison last year. You obviously saw some of his film there. This year, next year, he'll play over at Heritage High School. He is bigger than some tight ends right now. He is bigger than a number of tight ends in the state right now. And he has 4 years left. He's going to continue to grow. He's going to continue to be more, or, you know, get more athletic, and work out, do all that great stuff. Probably hit maybe not another growth spurt, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he grew a little bit more here, both in size, height-wise, and weight. So, for him to be here at 6'6", 220, ooh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous, man. And James said he's gonna have this kid over. He's gonna have this kid over there. You know, he's gonna have his security blanket over there. And so they're going to put in some work these next couple of years here. But, you know, let's go ahead and I want to show y'all this video here of this dude dunking. Now, this was recently, so there you go there. But he's going ahead and doing this thing. I know Cam plays a little bit of hoops as well. So there's that. Here's this one as well. You know, so he's a little bit of an athlete, you know. Just because you're tall doesn't mean you can dunk. I've known plenty of taller guys who could not dunk, and those guys ended up being linemen, to be honest with you. So this is a good sign. Love to see it. But and love this 3.5 GPA as well, plus a multi-sport athlete, you know. But I think on the next level, Cam is probably a tight end. I mean, you know, they'll probably throw him in at defensive end. I wouldn't be surprised there. But playing on the next level, he's a tight end. And you got to throw to him. You can't just let him be a blocking tight end or an extra lineman. Like, he is a legitimate receiving option and a legitimate red zone threat, as you did see in some of Jamison's film. But you know what? Let's go ahead and go to his film, Cam's film here. And you know what? Let's react to some of this here. And then I'll talk about like grading and stuff like that afterwards. So yeah. Jeez, he's just so much bigger than these kids too. Could go up and get it. That was a great catch and a great throw by Jamison to put it there. Good block there. I have no idea what this DB was doing, but way to get separation, make the catch. Oh, some defensive highlights here. Not bad, never a bad thing. Like I said, I will be evaluating Cam as a tight end. Not both. I'm sure he'll play both, but as a tight end for sure. Ooh, some blocking film. Okay. Good blocking film, too. Oh, I remember seeing this play here. He's just a better athlete at this one, or that kid did want to tackle him. But regardless, he's going to get his. That ain't really his problem. Little drag route here. Go ahead and find a way to get in there. There you go. Not the worst, decision, but way to kind of box him out here and make it easier for a quarterback to get it to you. Good. I believe that was blocking there. That was a good job. Ooh, a little bit of a move. I saw that. A little bit of a move to get the linebacker off of you. He has solid speed, man. For a kid at this height, 6'6", 220, that's solid. He doesn't even really need to be a trailblazer either. Just, good enough to get open. He'll make some tough catches. That was a nice little low throw. Something that I really like about Cam is that he doesn't make many catches with his body here. He's very sure-handed, and that's good. That shows that there's good hand-eye coordination, good habits there. Because sometimes when you get a big-bodied player, especially at receiver, especially on this level at this age, they'll catch it with their body because they just want to protect the ball. But he'll go up and extend for it, as you see right here. Little block and release. Would like him to be a little bit lower in some of these stances, but I want him to be lower so that he could get leverage as well. Personally. Oh, lined up at receiver, out at receiver. Nice catch right here. I like that they moved him around from that traditional tight end spot to receiver. Just get some yardage. Some of them, some of these yards some of these gains are for a short amount of yards. Then some of these other gains are for a long amount of yards. Honestly, as long as you sustain a drive, that is your job. Nice, good catch here. Ooh! That was perfect blocking right there. That was a very nice job. Alright. Okay. How could you not be impressed? He's 6'6", 220 as a kid. You had to be at least a little bit impressed. Come on now. But I was very much impressed here. Let's look at the tight end rubric here, just so that y'all know how I'm grading him. So, for tight ends, we've revised this rubric a couple of times. So this one might change in the next couple of years, but this is what we have for now. Like I said, rating system, grade system, basically the same. It's out of 100. You get a grade of between 1 and 10. So there you go. But the categories are different. So we have route running / release. Blocking, just straight up speed, hands, ball skills. We have footwork. We have receiving. I don't know why it says receive. I believe that's supposed to be yards after the catch. I don't know why that's an R there. But we have yards after the catch / field vision. So just like, how many yards could they get after the catch? We also keep in mind, how well they're seeing the field, if they can make a move, that type of stuff. If they're aware of where they're at. So there you go. We have overall strength, route tree, versatility, just how many routes are they running, how versatile are they when they're running those different routes. Verticality, contested catch rating, then balance and body control. Alright, so there you go. These are the categories for Cam. Jensen here. I'm going to go ahead and play his highlight reel one time as I put in the grades, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, let's go ahead and get into this one right here. So, Cam Jensen here. Where is the grade? Alright. So, he is a very talented tight end, obviously. Now, obviously, 6'6", 220, 6'7", 220, whatever. He's a big kid. Bro could go up and get it. He does a very good job there. But let's go ahead and break down his film category by category. So size and frame is actually not on here. Obviously, if you're gonna play on the next level, you gotta be some kind of you gotta be a big dude, right? And so let's go ahead and talk about some of these other things there, because there's more to the tight end position than just this here. But for route running / release, gave him a 6.5 here. Well, he's not a receiver, so that's just I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at right there. Now, he does run some of these routes very well. I think it could be a little bit more precise, you know, at times. Especially, I'm looking at some of these plays where he's lining up outside, you know. I want to see a little bit better footwork, you know, stacking and all that. Was impressed with his release for the most part. He does have long arms. On the next level, they're going to have to, I mean, they're going to press this kid. If he goes out and catches a pass out wide, you know, they're going to press him. You know, that's just what's going to happen. And so he needs to be ready for that. Like I said, we saw a little bit of it, but not a lot. And so that's probably why this grade is not higher. So there you go there. Now, blocking, went ahead, gave him a 7.3 here. It's pretty good, you know. Now, obviously, I haven't seen this dude block like high schoolers, and so that's why it's not higher. I think also there are times where he is just blocking a little bit too high, you know, and he could be a little bit low and whatnot. Now, part of that is because he's playing like, you know, he's playing middle schoolers who are like half his size. And so I understand that. I'm giving a little bit of leeway, but blocking wise, you know, I do want to see him block a little bit lower here. Plus, I also think there are times where he's a little out of position when he's like placing his feet and blocking, doing all that great stuff at times. And so could definitely be a little bit better there, because you don't see it too much, but there are definitely times where, you know, you kind of have an edge rusher who's a little bit faster and he doesn't quite compensate for that. So that's just something, if you're Cam, keep that in mind. Speed, this one was kind of hard to gauge, honestly, because he's definitely not like a burner at tight end. There aren't many. You know, Terrence Ferguson was one, but he's special. I mean, he's probably an NFL player. So there you go there. I think speed-wise, compared to high schoolers, I went ahead and gave him a 5.6 here. He's probably gotten faster, and he's going to continue to get faster, but I wouldn't exactly expect him to be somebody that, you know, is just gonna outrun a cover linebacker like a, you know, like a 6 foot 210 pound linebacker, or I don't think he probably should, you know, but it's solid enough. He could get in and out. You know, I think he's somebody that is more of your traditional type of tight end here when playing football, and so he's gonna definitely improve with his speed. But I mean, I just don't know if he's gonna be kind of like a burner down the field or anything crazy like that, which is fine. That's not really his job. So there you go. Hands, ball skills, gave him an 8.4 straight up. I think right now he's definitely on par with a lot of 3-star guys in the country. I think that's obvious. Love how he goes up and gets it. You know, I mentioned this earlier, has very good hands, uses his hands a lot, very good coordination. He's a hooper, so, you know, usually hoopers have very good coordination, and so that's a good thing, man. Really, really liked seeing that. And so that's why it's here at an 8.4. Footwork, gave him a 6.8. Could be a little bit cleaner, especially when he's running routes. Definitely rounds out some routes here and there, you know, and he could have faster feet as well and make some sharper cuts. But altogether, not too bad for a big guy, you know, pretty solid here. So gave him a 6.8. Now, yards after catch and field vision. This grade probably reflects more his yards after the catch than his field vision. I believe he sees the field pretty well. You know, there were a couple times where he was in the red zone, and, you know, he did his thing, man. I mean, he'd go ahead and get open, right? Or he'd catch the ball short, and then he'd find a way to get up in there for a touchdown. You know, and so I don't really question his field vision as much. Now, when it comes to yards after the catch, I mean, he's just not like, you know, he's not going to get a whole ton of yards after the catch. He's a bruiser, you know, so he's going to lower his shoulder, he's going to run over a fool or a couple and drag him, you know. I don't think he's going to string together a couple jukes and break like a million kids' ankles or anything like that. He's somebody that, you know, he's going to post up and he's going to catch over you. That's his game, and I think that's more than fine. You know, I think as he continues to develop as an athlete, this will improve, obviously, but right now, I wouldn't exactly expect him to, like, you know, catch one of these balls right here, go ahead and break that kid's ankles, and then house it 50 yards. That's just not, I just don't see it. You know, and that's fine. That's not what they're asking him to do anyways. Strength, straight up, 8.1. I think that's solid. I think if you want to put him into a game right now, you know, against some varsity high school football players, strength-wise, I mean, he's not going to be weak, bro. Like, he's going to be tough to bring down. You got to tackle, bro, for real. You know, or he's going to step up over you. But he's definitely a strong dude, and you know, like you see here, you see a lot of that strength in his blocking as well. He gets good leverage, and then he goes ahead and you know, blocks through him. So love to see that. Now route tree versatility, gave him an 8 here. I mean, he's a tight end, so they kind of, at least this season, they ran a lot of those classic like tight end routes. You know, like spot, drag, fade if you're good enough, you know. Actually, they didn't really run the fade route. They it was mostly a spot route, and then he just posted up, so there you go. But so spot, drag routes, you know, easy stuff like that. A couple of these routes where like he'll like block and release, you know, so you saw a couple of those. For a traditional tight end, this would probably be, or well, for a normal tight end, this would probably be I guess the extent of the variety of some of the routes that they ask you to. But if you want to continue to make yourself invaluable, I mean, route running, like basically the entire route tree, being able to run all of those and get open, that'll be big if he wants to continue to develop as a football player, as a receiver. You know, tight ends, I mean, you're either an extra blocker who's inevitably going to be changed to a tackle, or you're going to be a receiver. A big-bodied receiver at that. And so for Cam here, I would just encourage him to continue to work on that route tree, man. Go ahead and get out there with Jamison and run all the routes, every single route. Something I really want to see as well is that fade route. I'd like to see him lined up outside in the red zone, running a straight fade, and just see him, just watch how he stacks, you know, watch how he restacks, does all that great stuff, and then just catches over players. I think that'd be real interesting, so we'll see about that. Verticality, contested catch, I mean, gave him an 8.2, I already talked about this. Balance and body control, I think he could probably run a little bit lower, just in general. He could block lower as well, but I gave him, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it up just a little bit here. Gave him a 6, you know. I think he could continue to get better. I think his balance could continue to get better. I mean, he's a bigger dude, you know, and so it seems like there are definitely times where he's a little top heavy when he's running. And so I think if you're Cam Jensen here, go ahead and look up Aiden Oshziger, the tight end out of Erie High School. I think they will be built kind of the same when all is said and done. So like Cam in 4 years will probably build a lot like Aiden, like a bigger dude, like 6'5", 6'6", whatever, you know, 200. I think Aiden was like 250 at least. I think Cam could easily hit 250, even 260, you know. And so I'd watch Aiden and watch his balance and body control, because like he's not the fastest dude out there by any means, but he's a strong dude. He's somebody that's going to drag a lot of guys by running kind of like a running back when he gets that ball. And so if I'm Cam, you know, I look at that and I'm like, all right, you know, here's my game. I'm a jump ball dude. I'm going to break him at least the first one. You know, if it's a DB, then that's a guaranteed a first tackle broken. And then I'm going to be a good blocker as well. Altogether, the final grade I have for Cam Jensen is a 70.6, which is not bad for a tight end right now. I think he's somebody that probably starts day one, and it's not just because he's big, but I think he could get out there, he could block, You know, I think he could go ahead and boss some DBs, some smaller, you know, like cover like linebackers. I'm thinking like either a real short, like speedy outside linebacker that doesn't quite have the strength, or one of those, you know, cover inside linebackers. I think he could definitely win those matchups. If he wants to play varsity, he has to win those matchups, honestly. And that starts in practice and all of that great stuff. So, you know, we'll definitely see. But there you go. That is his grade. Don't really have too much more to say about it. Like I said, this does not include frame or size or any of that great stuff. And so just purely just going off of skill as a tight end, I think this is definitely where he is at. Moving forward, I mean, like I said, I think he's somebody that probably starts on varsity. Maybe not start on varsity, but he'll probably get looks on varsity. I'll say that. And I'm not going to go ahead and talk for the coaches themselves here, but he'll get looks on varsity and get that stuff done and do all that great stuff. Now, it depends how many looks he gets. You know, I think for him to truly get to that next level, continue to work on being a better athlete, work on that speed, work on blocking lower, continue to get stronger, you know, work on that balance as well. You know, hey, do some yoga, do something, get more flexible, you know, work on that catch radius. The more flexible you are, the better your catch radius will be. Look at Terrence Ferguson. There's a reason why he's over at Oregon right now. He's on a full ride, and he's still killing dudes out there in the Pac-12. It's because he's flexible. It's because his catch radius is insane, and he continued to work on that every single year, every single offseason. And so for Cam here, he could really be a force out here for Heritage, man. And I mean, I won't call him the next Terrence Ferguson. I think he's probably a little bit more of a traditional tight end. Think Eric Olsen, somebody like that. And that's totally okay. There's always room for those guys. But when you play the tight end position, you just gotta know, the more versatile you are, the more valuable you are. And so, I mean, that's probably the best advice I could give this dude, honestly. So we'll definitely see about that. But that'll wrap up this episode here. Thank you for rocking with us. Go ahead and give these two a follow here. Both of these guys are going to do their thing over at Heritage here soon, here in the fall. Now, I don't know if it will be varsity or freshman or JV, but definitely two guys you got to keep an eye on. They had a very good connection this last year, and that is, I mean, obviously that's a good thing, and I think that's something that's definitely going to translate when they do play on the varsity level here soon. So we'll just see about that. But if you want to go ahead and follow us on social media, that's us at Playmakers Corner, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Go ahead and find us there. If you want to watch this full live stream, say you came in a little bit late, you can find it here on Twitch here in a little bit once the stream ends, or you can find us on YouTube. Other than that, thank you so much for kicking it with us, and we will catch y'all later.